Good night, fellow punters. For the Duns in Newcastle West who were gone fishing for a while there, they're back on the bus for Galway. The clock on the wall says 10:20 on Tuesday night, the night before the Galway Plate for 2023 in the city of the tribesmen. Big crowd expected tomorrow. I won't make it tomorrow. I'll go the next day instead. Seeing that tomorrow is an evening meeting, I'll wait back too late for doing videos and for studying. So I'll go Thursday and might play cards on Thursday night. We'll see. Not a bad day. Didn't start off great, but it picked up as the day, just like the weather the last couple of days. Bad in the morning and good in the evening. We started off in the sprint today. It was a desperate speed bias towards the stand-side rail. We had no run. We were drawn wide. You could see after 20 yards that we weren't going to be even in the money. Milbosch, I don't know about him. I think I believe in him alone. Golden Wind finished fourth. We didn't mind the horse that won if we had finished second for a reverse forecast, but no. Coltrane, Oisin Murphy, let a decent horse, Quick Turn, who I won a few pound on before, let him off. Too much rope. They weren't going to reel him in today. And then Espresso, the horse that I had marked out first last night, Buzz Horse, we backed it when it won in Haydock 2 runs back, and we tipped it and backed it in Royal Ascot, and it ran a bit disappointing. Should have forgiven it, didn't. Went for a new horse, and that was 40s last night. It was 33s this morning, won at 10-1. I was annoyed with myself for not sticking with it, because you know I like to stay loyal to horses that does us a good turn and forgive them one bad run maybe at a ground that mightn't be suitable to them, but it wasn't to be today. And I love Simon Crisford as a trainer. He has won us a lot of money the last 18 months. But we hit a nice touch in the last one. A horse that I didn't hear anyone mentioning at all. Even in the preliminaries there today, they never mentioned executive decision. And I was talking to a lad on the phone there a while ago, and he said he was watching a couple of podcasts as well last night, and it was never mentioned at all. I was going on the Birdcatcher run last year. I got a tip for that year from a man that works there. I don't know if he's still on the bus. He probably is. He's always in the background. But it won very snug. So it was 10-1 last night, speed at 9. I also said to back it 11-2 each way, and you were getting a quarter of the odds in without the favourite, because the favourite was supposed to be a good thing. But I was expecting that horse to run very well today. You know, to be either, if the favourite was as good as it was supposed to be, that would maybe be second to it. That's the angle I'd try and work on all the time. So that cleared up any losses if everyone stayed loyal to the tips. And on to Galway. The favourite in the first race wasn't even in the first 3, which done me out of the place pot twice, because I had every other leg and I had 2 legs in one race. But not to be. I know it paid, I think, 33 quid, but it would have been a bit less with the favourite in it, but still we'd have collected a couple of times. Hot favourite won the second race. Tanula was second, short-headed, traded 1-3 or 1-4 in running, nailed on the line. The difference there was, I think if you had Pat Smullen in the Irons there from the start, you'd have won that race. He lost position after being drawn low and had to come on the outside. It was enough to not be able to fend off the late run. We're awfully unlucky in the big race. Horse that traded 1-6 in running, no more Porter. That was 18-1. It's an awful pity. It's out again Thursday in a lesser class race. We could be collecting, I'd say. I'll have to look at it again. Mentioned 2 4-year-olds last night. Tipped the wrong one. Gambit Valache. Bad draw. Never got out of the stalls quick enough. And Debana was placed in the last race. That was 10-1 last night. So not a bad. Oh yes, we had our nap went in. Dermot Wells' horse, and I was saying he gave it a great ride in that race. He got out from a wide draw. I can't think of the name of it, but I had a good touch on that today. So on to tomorrow, Plate Day. I've a lucky 15, 3 at Goodwood and 1 at Redcar. There was a couple at Goodwood that I couldn't make head nor tail of at all. But there's one in the first race that we backed, but I'm not including it, but we'll back it maybe singly at it's at 8-1. We backed it in Ascot. It's carrying top weight. Now the ground is the thing for this. It doesn't look to be in love of, or it mightn't be in love with soft ground. They are expecting rain, so I'm going on soft ground tomorrow. But it did win twice. We tipped it in that day. I think I got money for us. No, it didn't. They were paying 5 and it came 6, wasn't it? It was in Ascot. But Charlie Appleby is yard is going all right. 5 for 15 in the last 14 days, 33%. There is a hot favourite there, but it's after winning the maiden in Chester. But they're paying 4 places, so might have an each way on that, the top weight, and hopefully that the ground doesn't get too desperate for it. But one that we do want soft ground for is a good old friend of ours from last year. If it's hot deep, it'd be all the better for fast response. It was 6-1 there earlier. There's a bit of money for it. Probably Trudy's knowing that it's going to be raining overnight, perhaps. But it's out of, or it's by, First Fast Company. So I'm hoping that there'll be rain for that. And actually, the way it ran lately, it's not as, mightn't be just as ground dependent. Well, as I thought it would be, or it might be, because it ran well enough there in a listed race on Good to Soft behind Happy Romance that day. And it ran well enough the last two, but the ground was soft in Chester. And that horse ran 4th today in the Linux. I tipped up Jumbly the last couple of times, and it was pulled out. And they're going over there tomorrow. And definitely I think the 7 furlongs will suit it better than the mile that it was the last couple of times. It didn't get home that day with Rogue Millennium. It has ran 1 in Newbury on soft ground last year, so that would be the reverse forecast in that race. But in the hope that the rains come, a fast response. Won a couple of big prizes last year for us. Where are we? The 445. We've seen this horse winning La Isla Mujeres. I think it's Spanish, is it? Or is it whatever? I don't know. We backed a horse in this race, Mille Chanel. This is it in 2nd place on the rail.
Inside Mademoiselle Chanel caught a bit flat-footed there as Mistral Star makes up the ground on the bridle on the outside and doing it in some style at the moment. 2.5 furlongs left to cover. La Isla Mujeres still strong at the front end, leading by a couple of lengths. They're all working hard behind, including now Mistral Star, who hasn't gone past Entrancement yet, who still holds on a second. Battling away is Mademoiselle Chanel for the placings, though, perhaps here you'd imagine, because La Isla Mujeres is stretching clear, approaching the final furlong in the hands then of Rhys Clutterbuck, and it's going to be Rhys at the double, because this filly has absolutely blown a competitive field apart in some style. La Isla Mujeres wins by about 6 or 7 lengths.
Scored at home. It's up £11 for that, so it won't make it simple. There is an unknown there, Queen Regent. It was second, caught flat-footed on the turn for home to Value Added. Lightly raced horse. Hasn't ran on soft ground yet. The other one then is in the 530 or the 520. a yard that's going pretty well, and we won a few pounds on it lately, the David O'Mary yard. Rhoscolyn. This is handicap to win, and normally when they get handicap to win in the O'Mary yard, the click, hopefully tomorrow will be the day. It's down 87 now. It's only a 5-year-old. But last October to the 102, to then the 100's there for a long time. You can see even going back all of last year. And the year before, the last time to that low, it won off 74, 86 and 92. One on soft and good to soft. Had a good enough run, I thought, the last time in Beverley on heavy ground. 7 furlongs, optimum trip. Everything is right for tomorrow. So hopefully that will be one. And then there's one, I'm going against the favourite here. I hope it's Jazz. I'm going against that. It's an amateur jockey's race. It's hard enough favourite, but I thought War Defender. He has young Easterby riding for the dad, or it isn't it? But it's rated 57 now. That won off 70 last January, 12 months, and is in the 70s. It's back down to a workable mark. It went out in front the last time in Doncaster, and he just went too hard, or she did, on the jockey. No, to Sean Corrand was on that day. What am I thinking?
Barberini's trying to get on to him, so too Medina Gold.
That's him out in front.
Defender being pounced on by Powerful Response now, with Lockdown Last just in behind them as they face the final furlong. And now Powerful Response has hit the front from long-time leader War Defender, and then Lockdown Last. These are being chased by Medina Gold. So it's Powerful Response still running on. Lockdown Last. Powerful Response getting lonely, wandering around as Lockdown Last comes to challenge. Lockdown Last wearing down Powerful Response.
So hopefully he might be able to turn over the fav. Now, the other ones in what do you call it? They're not too inviting, and there's an odds-on shot. Paddington is 2 to 5, and there's another race that I couldn't make head nor tail of. So we'll leave it at that. In the first race in Galway tomorrow at 5:10, the Grand Little Handicap. That lawn Cinnte, that ran a good race the last day in Leopardstown. I think it's between him and the other one, a Genuine Article. But it beat Livio Milo. That was Livio Milo. That was the one that we won on tonight in a maiden in June. It was second to Aussie Girl. And then it ran well enough in the last day, but if this was over a mile, I'd be sweeter on it, to be honest. And the reason I'm going to go for the other one, which is Genuine Article, is the fact that it's a mile and half a furlong. Because it was third first time out this distance in a maiden in last October, and then in a maiden the last day in Killarney. It was doing its best work late. It's in the judgment colours there, the pink hat.
Paradox, right on their heels is Genuine Article, and the blue on the outside. Coming up to the leaders is Sorrento Point. As they pass the two, Simpson's Paradox, one off the rail, edges to the front from Toll Stone. They're pressed by Genuine Article on the outside as these three move on from Sorrento Point, gap then to 7 Seas. Inside the final 200 yards, and it's Genuine Article joining both Simpson's Paradox and Toll Stone. Inside the final 100 yards, and it's Genuine Article in front, gets the upper hand close to the finish to beat.
That was over a mile. And the extra half a furlong and the uphill finish. That was the reason I chose that. But I'd be very afraid of Lan Cinnte. There is a bit of money there for Sea Gardens tonight, but I was slightly disappointed with his run the last day. But maybe it's owned by Sean Mulryan, and he'd love to have a winner in Galway. So you never know. Maybe they were just out for the gallop the last day. But as you can see there, Joseph O'Brien, 4 out of the last 46, only 8.7%, including on Gambe Veloce today. I know he had a winner yesterday. But Genuine Article would be the selection in that. Reverse forecast with the other one, Lankinshire. Up and Under opened up at 15-8, and it's bashed off the boards. Then to 8-11 there in a maiden race tomorrow. I was thinking a bet in that the lot of national hunts horse. We have one in it that done us a good turn and then let us down in Ballinrobe when it wasn't able to jump. Is Winter Fog. I think it's 11-4 without the favourite. Without the favourite. This song was for you. That won the bumper last year. The first bumper on the Monday evening. But this yoke could be Winter Fog would be a bit classier, you'd imagine. 1.5 miles. Handbrake off. Away. 6:10. Tricky enough. 2 mile handicap. Look at Mr. Escobar. We backed him the last year at 9-2 and went off, 5-4 or 6-5 and finished 5th. So I don't know if unless the step up and trip works the oracle there. But you cracked me up one the other evening. I don't know, will that run again? One yesterday even, didn't it? Bet a star. But if that didn't run, you cracked me up. They might let in Belgoprince, and the 2 mile definitely suit that. So if that ran, it's a 12-1 shot. We come back that maybe. Immelman for Willie Mullins, Rachel Blackmore as well. Could be anything. So Tony has one on the top, so we'll see if that got in. I think it's down over hurls as well some of the next days. But the big race then at 6:40. The Galway Plate. Or the Hurton Joker Plate. We can't call it that. Not for tomorrow. We slag them, but not tomorrow. The Galway Plate was won last year by Hewick. And in the race, he carried £18. No, there's a difference of £18 in the difference between the first and the fourth from last year. And that's the reason I put up Ash Tree Meadow as a tip. As well as that, a 7-year-old has won it last year, which was Hewick. Early Doors was 7. Lord Scoundrel, Shanahan's Turn, Road to Riches, Carlingford Law, and Blazing Tempo. Since 2011, all 7-year-olds. Novices, second-year novices sort of do pretty well in it. Ash Tree Meadow will be carrying 9 stone 11 with Danny Gilligan's £7 off, and he was carrying. There was only £11 between them last year. There's £18 in the difference this year. This is the finish of the Galway Plate last year, and Ash Tree Meadow was a novice, only one run before over chases, and it's in the great performance from Hewick that day. was a lot of interference with the winner, and we got interfered as well on the turn for home twice. And as a novice, for a novice, that wouldn't have suited at all. Done pretty well, I thought. But if that has a chance, the rain now wouldn't suit Inniskerry. That's the only reason I'm a fan, and I do put a lot of Barry Connell's horses into chases. It's a 9-year-old. It's lightly raced over fences. Won a flat race there recently. But Aurtorised Art, I think it 33s into 12s during the evening there, and I had it marked out as an each way bet, because when it won in Tipperary last year, Ash Tree Meadow was 9 lengths behind it, and they're off level weights, and it's only giving it £1 tomorrow, and it's an 8-year-old. Danny Mullins is riding it. Paul Townend is on. What's Townend riding again? I'm getting mithered. He's on Kilcrut. Might be classy enough to win it, but carrying a big weight, 11.5 for. We're on 9 stone 11 Ash Tree Meadow, so that is the selection, and 7.15. There's a horse here that won for us in Sligo. It's a big price, 14-1. Red Ball of Fire. Mikey O'Sullivan was on it that day, and I was saying he might give it a good ride, and he did. 14-1. They're paying 5 places, so anyone that backed it that day, including myself, I'm going to have a few pound on it tomorrow, and I hope he rides it. Philip Enright rides it the same way, it'll suit. Gone up to £6. Where the hell are we here? There's a strong favourite in this, then High Class Hero. That beat Kinbarra, wasn't it? Yeah, and Kinbarra's come out then and won twice since. So that was in a bumper. First time over hurls. Kinbarra. Won twice by 18 lengths both times in Wexford and in Cartmel. So that form looks to be fierce solid. And then in the Get Now one tomorrow night, there's a horse there, Zoffany Bay. It's 20-1 for Peter Fahey. Now, Peter isn't going that hectic, but he always tries to target this race or this race meeting. But if you look at that, when it came from O'Teal, first time out in Ascot last February, it was in a class 2. It was second at 25-1. Ran terrible then in a couple of races after that. Given a break, won in Handicap in July, just gone there, 11th of July. And it looks like as if they were little prep runs for this. That's what I'm just thinking, that they might have been gearing up this for a shot at the race in Galway. 20-1 shot to paying 5 places. It's a speculative bet, I suppose you'd call it. So we'll get this into the oven. I'm 25 minutes waffling on. Did not mean to be on as long. So bash the bookies, over and out.